Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Good. Hello, Robert. How are you? Sorry about last night. I have no idea what happened. It has to be the internet. Like I said one time before about I don't really know, and I apologize. So we are going to continue from where we left off last night, and that was in reference to the triplet fill-ins that Paul was referring to. Do you have a sheet on that, the triplet fill-ins? Oh, by the way, your book will be in the mail Friday morning. So you should get it either Saturday or Monday. Okay? Triplet fills. You don't really need the sheet because the sheet's going to be in the book. Okay, triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's the triplet zone. The triplet count, or we're just going to work with the eighth note triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and another thing that you need to understand is the difference between straight up and down and swung. So do you understand that? For those who don't, straight up and down. For example, if I took from page 5 from the stick control book, line 1, and played it straight up and down, would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now, that's straight up and down. I'm going to swing it or syncopate it. Syncopation means to change the feel. So now, instead of playing it straight up and down, I'm going to start counting eighth note triplets. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so now we're going to interpret the line swung. So now the downbeat says the 1, 2, 3, 4. And all the ands, okay, become the duh. Oh, hello. Okay. So we have the line swung now. Instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we're going to have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what we're going to do now is we're going to reference off that line. And we're going to eliminate all the lefts, and we're going to think of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm going to hit full strokes with the rights. So the first line would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Second line, it shifts over. It's instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, it becomes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I eliminate the lefts and I get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now that leaves a lot of blank in there. For example, back to line 1. I eliminated the left, so I'm playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm going to fill in the balance of the triplet, the and with the opposite hand. Okay? So for example, I'll do line 1 slow. We eliminated the left, so we're just interpreting it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And now the and of the triplet is going to be not a ghost note, but it's a little bit louder than the ghost note with the left hand. It would be 1 and the 2 and the 3, 4. So we have line 1. I'm going to play my bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4. My hi-hat 2 and 4. Heel on the 1, toe on the 2, heel on the 3, toe on the 4. So the bass drum is 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 against the fill-in. Okay, play it up tempo a little bit. Do we understand it so far? Now I'm containing that right hand only on a snare drum, but depending on how many toms you have, you can move it around to the toms and make your own kind of feel or your own kind of rather sound. For example, I go back and forth from the floor tom to the snare. But I'm interpreting that or so on and so forth. And you can take it up tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Line 1 and line 2, I'm going to contain it just. Robert, you understand that? Okay. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name. I'm going to call you Mr. Russia. Would that be okay? I mean, unless you want to give me your full name or what your name is. But anyway, like I said, Robert, before, we're going to put that in the mail Friday morning. However, what I'm doing with this site and with Facebook groups, the Stick Control Formula Room, is I'm going to be selling the formulas, the book itself, to whoever wants to buy it. Now, for them to understand the book a lot better, they would have to come to watch some lessons or register on my website or buy a video per formula. What do you think of that idea, Robert? I wonder where Jim is. Okay, I'm going to put my email in here, okay? And Ilya, is that okay? Ilya? Is that how you pronounce it? Well, here's my email. Now, all you need to do, okay, is to email me, and you will receive on a Monday, perhaps, or maybe a little bit before, or Monday morning, the week's agenda, the time and location of all the lessons, because I do broadcast from 2 different places. So if you want to be added to my mailing list, please give me a holler on my email, and I'll add you if that's okay with you. Now, we do understand the first 2 lines, correct? And we could take that to a different platform. Okay, so if you want to take that to another platform, I don't know if you want to do this yet or not, but because this is being recorded and people will be watching this as, after the lesson, or there are people listening right now and watching that just don't dare get in the chat, and I don't know why. It's an educational platform. I'm not here to prove anything or perform anything. I'm breaking things down to help you out. Okay, so now, The other platform is I'm going to play a jazz time. The simple pattern, simple, straight 4. But notice my right hand. It's a free stroke, down, a free stroke, down, a free stroke, down. Now, I'm going to play my left foot on 2 and 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3. Nice and easy. So that's the right hand part and the left foot part. So what I want to do now is do a substitution thing on our interpretation. Line 1, we played 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to substitute the right hand for the bass drum. Got that? 1. Listen to the left foot. Against the jazz time. Sorry. So what we're actually doing, the exercise itself between the bass drum and the snare drum, and we're adding the jazz time. Against this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we're going to go to the second line, and we're going to do the same process. Okay, but now the snare drum and bass drum are going to change because we're interpreting that from, okay, line number 2. That would be, instead of 1 and da, 2 and da, 3 and da, what we have is 1 and da, 2 and da. Again, 1 and da, 2 and da, 3 and da, 4 and da, boom. We understand that, gentlemen? Everybody, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, so now we play against the jazz time. Line 2. Now, in the stick control formulas, I do have that written out, perhaps maybe 20 different lines. Okay, so like I said, I'm making videos to put on my website for those who don't want to join my class. Do we understand all this before I go to the line 3? Mr. Russia, Ilya? Is that, or Ilya? Okay, Ilya, you understand it. Okay, good. How long have you been playing, Ilya? Randy, where have you been, my friend? You understand it, Robert? Okay. Ilya, you understand it. And how long have you been playing? That's the next question. All right, let's do number 3. Okay, number 3, it's written as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And. All right? So now we're going to swing the line. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to do the triplet fill-ins. Nice and slow. Well, you haven't been to New Jersey, Randy. All right, we're going to do, I'll have book number 2 if you want to purchase that in the mail Friday. Okay, we're going to go to the fill-in now on one surface. All right, let me count that out loud while I'm doing that. Who's this? Pablo, how you doing? Okay, so now, we're going, the next move, you know, you can move it around, having fun with it on your toms. Okay? For example, okay. Just a nice couple ideas, but you can move it around. First, you want to get it on one surface. You don't want to make it, try to the speed element to be, you want to be, I can play it faster than that. That doesn't mean anything. It's how smooth, how nice, and how you can make it sound musically. So on and so forth. Now the next move, the third move, we'll be playing all the rights. We're going to substitute that now, all the rights for the bass drum and all the lefts for the snare drum. Let me slow it down. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 1 and the 2 and the. Then next against the jazz time. Maintaining that level. Free stroke down, a free stroke to now. We all understand that so far. That's up to line 3. I'm going to stop at line 5 because you should be able to put that together. Okay? But like I said before, what's going to be available is stick control formulas. It's 180 pages. Okay? And if you live in the United States and you want to purchase the hard copy, it's $45. That includes shipping. If you want to, if you live in Europe or on the other side of the ocean, if you want me to, the only thing that would be very reasonable for you, because it costs a fortune for me to ship it overseas, is the PDFs. Okay, that is lines from the stick control book. Let me tell you something about the stick control book there, Ilya. The stick control book, in my opinion, and most other drummers, all right, the stick control book is the Bible. That's number 1. Number 2, in my opinion, it's the best book ever written, because everything you really need to know, 90% of it's in that book. It's a brilliant book by George Lawrence Stone. I took it further. I expanded on his concept. I just love the way he does the rights and lefts and combinations of and equalizes the sound and how to develop the speed and maintain an equal balance. Well, that would cost, if I send it to you email, that's going to cost $25 put in my PayPal account. I can't give the paper copy. I can't give any of this away. It's all for sale. So if you'd like to purchase it, you can send $25 in my email, in my PayPal account as a gift. And I will email you all the PDFs. Okay? But if you decide not to do that, still email me. I will put you on my mailing list and you will receive, okay, and like I said, every Monday, the week's agenda, the time and location, and PDFs if you need it. No, that's not all I use. I mean, I'm on there now, page 5. The question is, do I always use page 5 of the stick control book? No, I go through the whole thing. But, you know, it's not that I'm at a stop sign with page 5, but it's all there. I mean, there's other hand exercises that are brilliant, you know, and it's all mathematical. For example, if you'd like to go, I don't have the stick control book in front of me, but the one page where he has eighth notes and 16th notes. Eighth notes, he has, I think it's the single stroke exercise, single stroke combinations. Like that. And if you notice, first off, we worked with the vamp, right? The eighth note vamp and the vamping like 1, 2, 3, 4. So we worked on that one line. Or we work on the triplets. And we go so much into it. This is a lifetime journey, and it's very difficult to do this online and cover most everything in an hour. I try to do the best I can. But like I was talking about the vamps, if I'm doing a 16th stroke, if I'm doing 16th notes, alternating the strokes. There's a line, I forgot exactly what page. It's one of those pages where it's a 4-measure increment. You have 3 measures of this. And on the 4th measure, you just have a run of 16ths. So if I play that in tempo, my left hand is really hurting. It's not that it's the most important. It's not the most important page, all right? Every page in Stick Control book has its own personality and its own reason. Just that, you know, there's so much to cover. I mean, I could sit here and cover 72 lines if you want to wait, you know, have me give you a lesson to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight. But I can't do that. Every page in that Stick Control book is important. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Our guest from Russia says he plays, or she plays, the book with the hands. Well, that's the way it's supposed to be. I have a video, okay, on YouTube. You subscribe to my channel as well. I have a video on Stick Control book the way George Lawrence Stone intended it. And I've only covered a few lines of page 5. So I'm staying with 5, 6, and 7. So if you'd like, go to YouTube like you're on now and put in a search, Stick Control book the way George Lawrence Stone intended it to be played. And that, you know, give you the idea. See, the object of that Stick Control book and incorporating the levels, because there, if you notice, in all of Stick Control book, in Stick Control book, there are no accents. Now, I have a ton of ways to play that book because I simply admire and I really respect the genius of George L. Stone. And one of his students, you know, Joe Morello, and many more, I mean, it says it all right there. Like I said, I wish I was a fly on the wall when he was giving a lesson to Joe. But, you know, there's only so much you could do in a day, you know. Stay with one zone, and it all comes together. You know, I think in March, one weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I have a couple people coming here, and there's still a couple openings for what I call a mini drum camp. And it's a 6-hour day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, in my studio as instructions. So if anybody would like to come, good. Okay, now I got off the lesson somehow. Where was I? All right, let's talk about the vamping. And actually, when you vamp, it's half of a single stroke roll. If I'm playing 16th notes, I'll get the metronome set and I'll play that. Oh, I don't know, for about a minute at a certain tempo. But notice, the sound on my right and the sound on my left is equal. You don't hear this. That's the object, the original object of stick control book. Okay? So now, for example, if I'm doing something like the 16th notes. And I do that for 3, 4, 5 minutes at a variety of tempos. But actually, if you analyze it and say, okay, Mr. Exercise, if I took half of that single stroke roll and just played the rights, I'd have 1 and 2 and 4. And there's your vamp. So when I'm playing a vamp or working out on a vamp, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, left, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually playing half a single stroke roll, right hand lead. And all the other combinations in that book are executing in a variety of different ways, but maintaining the same sound. That's developing strength with the right and developing strength with the left. Now that's one of the objective of the vamp and developing endurance and playing single strokes and double strokes and whatever. I wanted to hit on one more thing before I close up. In the stick control book formula, I've given you different vamps. I gave you 3 with the 8th note vamp, 3 with the 8th note triplet vamp, and 3 with the 16th note vamp. So that's going to be very commonplace, and they are difficult the way I present them. However, you have 72 lines of vamping patterns. And you say, where do I get 72 lines? I can't find that in the stick control book. Well, no, you can't, because it has not been written. Now, I don't know if Randy or whoever else is watching, and Robert, if you remember the accent development that exercise or PDF sheet I sent everybody, what that was. I took, all of page 5, and I referenced off of it with all the rights as accents. If you remember, I'm playing 8th notes. I'm going to take this off snare so you can hear me a lot better. Is that better? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just playing my rights one level, one volume. So now I say to myself, okay, I want to develop an exercise. Let's start with line number 2, okay? 3 rather. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make all the rights. I'm going to reference off line 3. I'm only going to think of, when I look at line 3, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's going to be my accent with this being on the bottom. Line 3. Line 5. Do you remember that, guys? I mean, I get so many different people at so many different levels coming in and out, so I don't want to be repeating myself all the time if you already know it. But you remember that exercise, Randy and Robert and Isla? This one is that Ilya or I don't know how to pronounce it. I apologize. But anyway, were you guys here when we did that? Okay, you could take any line, if you remember it, Randy, and I'm going to close up with this. You could take any line of stick control book. Example, I'll use my left hand as the left hand vamp. Let's take line 5. And I did line 5. I'm going to do all the accents that are there as rights with my left hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I have to do it with my right. I apologize. Because my left hand is really, I have to go for an MRI Friday morning to hope we could take care of this shit. No, you don't play the whole book. You just take the idea and work from the idea. The stick control book is endless. You can't start today from the beginning and do all the formulas because you'll be there forever. You want to take an idea or a formula and work it out. Each formula is going to be related to something else. You just keep working it and working it and working it. Let's get back to the vamping process. Let's take line 5. I'm going to do it with my right hand. I'm sorry about the left. Now we can make that the vamp and play against that. You have 72 different things to do there, and then some. Now, don't misunderstand. If this is your first time here, okay, I'm a lunatic with the stick control book because I totally, like I said, admire, respect the brilliance of George Lawrence Stone and the way he's presented the stick control book. But man, it's an endless book. When you practice, it's not that I have to practice this a certain way, and then go on to another one. I mean, the only thing you would be doing 24 hours a day is practicing, except to get something to eat and relieve yourself in the toilet. But you can't play the whole book. It's impossible. There's a lot of different videos, for example, on YouTube. One guy says, yeah, play it 20 times today and come back in a week. Well, that don't make any sense. The word, first of all, everybody says, what's your practice routine? I said, what the hell's a routine? Routine, it means, to me, it's a sign of boredom. You're doing a routine. You're not expanding yourself. You're not going exploring and creating different things. So what I do is, yes, there's a warm-up issue. I mean, it's just like anything else. My hands have to be loose. They have to be warmed up. And I do maybe 15 minutes of some warm-up exercises that I have, but I don't really do the same ones every day. So I say to myself, after my warm-up is done, I say, all right, I need some work, and I need work on everything, but I need mostly work on this particular thing today. Okay? So after I warmed up, I'll sit on the drum set or the drum pad and work what I have to work out and practice it. It's not a routine because the next day comes, yes, I will continually warm up because I do not want to injure myself physically. I'm in bad shape as it is with this left hand, and there's no carpal tunnel syndrome. It's just something I have to take care of. I don't know what it is. But, the routine, yeah, the loosening up. If you play sports, for example, basketball, baseball, football, soccer, mixed martial arts, you have to loosen up your limbs sort of in order to play better so you don't injure yourself. Well, the same thing kind of happens with the drums. It's a physical instrument. I mean, I can't just crawl out of bed and sit here and play single strokes at 180 for 3 minutes. And I don't even think Superman can do that. Maybe Randy could. But anyway, that's how I do it. And every day, if I need to repeat what I was practicing the day before, 2 or 3 days in a row, it's because I'm working at it and I want to get it better. I don't take a book and take it from cover to cover. It's that don't happen. That's not even a routine. That's insanity. That's not accomplishing anything. You need to say to yourself, this is what I want to practice today because I need some work on it. And that's what you do. If tomorrow, when tomorrow comes, you loosen up, you want to review what you did the day before and go on to something else or stay on there what you were working on, that's what you should do. That's what I do. That's what I recommend. But everybody works, most of the drummers that come to something like this, or, yeah, well, I could play my single strokes at 280 for 10 minutes. Well, what does that prove? That don't prove anything to me. That just proves to me, or sort of, that, you're sort of childish or immature. That's not accomplishing anything. And you're trying to prove something. I got to say this one more time. Speed means absolutely nothing. Control is where it's at. Without control, speed will not exist. Period. Now, there's all these videos on YouTube slamming and banging and trying to play all over the place and making no musical sense whatsoever. And I said, for lessons, call who? Okay. Well, we could talk about that, Isla. Like, no, you want to work on a line. I mean, can you practice 3-4 hours a day? You work on the page. If you could practice only a half hour, you want to work on 1, 2, 3 lines. That's cool. You practice at your own pace. What your results, what you want your results to be. It's the same. The time you spend is the time you're going to get out of it, the reward. So it's like. I practice as much as I possibly could. Recently, I haven't. I've been doing a lot of writing and a lot of organizing. But anyway, remember, you have my email. Email me, and I will send you the week's agenda, time, and location. Also, tonight, if you want to come to the lesson, what is it? Yagoda? Okay, whatever you want. Easier to pronounce. I'd like to get it right. Okay. If you want to come to the lesson tonight, it's at a different location. Or if you want to visit the site and sign the guest book, that would be fine. Here's the site. Now that's my site, and I do lessons there every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, this Thursday there's not going to be a lesson, but I will do lessons tomorrow, which is Wednesday and Thursday, 1 p.m. So usually it's 4 days a week on YouTube here, 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on my site, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My pleasure, everybody. Okay, time to leave. I wish I could stay, but I can't. I have too much that I got to get going on.